Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8. Hard to believe that it's been so many days that we've been talking about these really important issues that have occurred as the COVID-19 epidemic continues to collide with our legal rights and legal issues that we didn't really give much thought to before we were staying home. Before I start today, I wanted to, this just kept me up last night, and so I thought I would share. For those of you that don't know, we've been kind of under a sort of shield of security that our pets are okay and that this does not affect animals. Yesterday, a tiger at the Bronx Zoo was diagnosed with COVID-19. It's ironic that it was a tiger when the whole world is now, obsessed with watching the Tiger King. But still, I wonder what that really means and if our house pets are safe or not. So stay tuned for that. It breaks my heart that any animal would have to suffer through this. But it was, if you want to look it up, it was at the Bronx Zoo that the tiger was diagnosed yesterday. Other things going on. The governor is now requesting that everyone wear a mask anytime they leave their home. And she is also recommending that you wear homemade masks and donate any of the N95 masks to first line responders, hospitals, police departments, those people who are saving our lives. And the other thing that she updated us on this morning is that tomorrow the legislature will be coming together to consider an extension of the stay-at-home order. It was originally, I believe, supposed to expire on April 13th. I could be off by a couple days there. And she has requested it be extended for another 70 days. The 70 days would take us certainly into the end of May, early June time frame. It is my understanding that the legislature will meet tomorrow in person, which is a super, super scary thing, because why would you want all these people from all over the state, some places that have tons of cases of COVID-19 and some that have one or none, to get together in a room when we have all this technology available to us? It's astounding to me. But, even more astounding is that the vote that is actually up for tomorrow is not the governor's 70-day extension. It would be a 1-day extension. Not sure who submitted that. It doesn't sound very smart to me. And so, just so that you're aware, we want to pay attention to that. The other two things that are that I wanted to talk about today are some changes in the parenting time and suggestions for parenting time. If you are one of those families that was affected, by now you are not allowed to have face-to-face parenting time with your child. Just wanted to make some suggestions. I have not and did not rush to court with some of my cases that could have been rushed to court because I wanted to wait and see. I thought that it would be a much stronger argument to ask a judge to intervene in the parenting time if I had documented proof that it wasn't working. The case that I've talked about over and over again with the 2-year-old, and who went from spending 5 days and 5 nights in his parents' home, 2 days and 2 nights in foster care, was removed from his biological parents' home and now has FaceTime visits with his parents for about 5 minutes twice a day. This has been going on for a week, and this little boy and his parents are not doing well. The little boy, obviously, he doesn't have the attention span or the vocabulary to have a FaceTime conversation. So difficult circumstances take enormous amounts of creativity. So some of the things that I would suggest if you have to have parenting time is plan. Whether it's doing an art project together or have a chalkboard and, you can, teach colors or letters and have your child say them back to you. You could play hangman. You could do any number of, you could read stories. You could record videos and send them over to your child, and they could listen to them over and over and over again all day long and see you all day long. So those are just some quick solutions that I wanted to offer to everyone if you are in that really difficult parenting time situation. Let's talk a little bit about domestic violence. It's conceivable that with everyone being at home and everyone being on top of each other, even in the largest of homes, that there would be some increased stress and hostility. First, I want to tell you that, domestic violence is very, very real, and there are a lot of men and women who live in fear every single day. And the issue that we have with domestic violence during these times is that a person who is the victim of the abuse may not have a safe way to ask for help. So that is something to be cognizant of. In some countries, since the COVID-19 outbreak, they've seen a rise of 25% in domestic violence. In Kent County, just 2 hours from here, they've seen a 48% increase in domestic violence and child abuse cases in the last 2.5 weeks. That's 134 cases in 2.5 weeks. I had an opportunity to spend some time this morning talking to one of our lieutenants from one of our Oakland County police departments, and he told me that he hasn't really seen a rise in domestic violence per se. He said that they're seeing more issues pertaining to neighbors getting neighbors in trouble because they think they're violating orders. For example, they have a landscaper or they're building a deck. He seems to think that that's where they've seen the increase, not necessarily in domestic violence. That could be for many, many reasons. And maybe it's just because people aren't talking and they're just coexisting with it, which if that's the safe way, that's the best way, I guess. So, during the lockdown, it has the potential to aggravate any pre-existing abusive behaviors. There's obviously heightened stress economically as well as socially. There's also, according to the licensing board and the people who track the liquor and beer sales in Michigan, that is up 52% since the at-home order was in place. So we have more people drinking. We have the cutoff of the escape routes or safety plans. A lot of victims of domestic violence have a friend, and that's where they're going to go if they're in danger and they have to leave. And, what if your friend isn't going to let you in because you're not quarantined in their home? And so there's also the possibility that you wouldn't be able to call for help because you don't have the opportunity for your abuser to be at work or a time when you would be alone and able to call. So it's very hard. And when I was speaking to the lieutenant this morning, he told me that he felt that the numbers are not reflective of what is really going on. He thinks the numbers are reflective of people not calling, not necessarily that domestic violence isn't a problem right now. So then I had to ask the obvious question, and that was, well, ordinarily there's a policy that if you get a domestic violence call, someone has to be removed from the scene. Someone must be physically arrested from the scene so that the situation can resolve or calm down. And so now we have kind of this conflict in that our jails are a breeding ground for COVID-19. The more people in and more people out, not just inmates, but also employees, medical personnel, security, probation officers, any number of people, clergy are in and out of there, psychologists, psychiatrists. So it's very hard to isolate people or quarantine them in a productive way. It's very hard to have social distancing because there just isn't enough physical space to do it. And you have people who have been in there for up to a year, and then you have other people who are coming in right now. And so in this domestic violence situation, where by policy there is supposed to be an arrest, where are they going to take them? They're letting people out of jails per the governor's directive in order to keep them safe if they are high health risk individuals, if they're elderly, if they only have a little bit of time left on their sentences, they're being released. If they're not serious offenders, they're being released. They're trying to really only keep the most serious offenders in jail or in prison at this point in order to stop the spread of the virus. So you have this domestic violence situation. So what are they going to do with the person if they have to arrest them? Well, I can tell you in Oakland County, they're going to take them to the local police station, and then they're going to call the county, and they're going to say, do you want this person or not? And they will be held, and then the process will begin. In a domestic violence arrest, the next thing that would happen would be an arraignment. We have very limited access to courts right now. An arraignment is considered essential. It is considered a quote-unquote emergency. So in a normal time, we would be before the magistrate for the arraignment or formal charging within 24 hours. And usually it would be within 12. But it may not be that quick right now. It would be, and at that hearing is when the bond is set, and that is the person's first opportunity to be released. But there's going to be no contact with the alleged victim, so they're not going to be able to go home, and they're not going to be able to have contact with that spouse or friend that they live with, or child, or whoever was involved in the altercation. Well, where are they going to go? Because most of our hotels are full, because that's where essential medical personnel are living, so that they don't possibly infect their families. There is not a lot of apartment rentals available for short periods of time. Are there family members who would take them in? Who knows? I mean, we are in uncharted waters, my friends, and so that's just another example of a situation where the just thing and the real thing are really diametrically opposed. The other thing to remember about domestic violence, and as I mentioned earlier, there may be a difficulty in reporting at this juncture. The dialing 211 is the 911 equivalent of to report domestic violence. So everyone needs to stay safe and make sure that their people are safe. And if hostility is growing in your home, go find a corner, go walk outside, go walk your dog. Certainly getting arrested now although I'll help you and you can call me, it's not a good idea. It's just, you're risking your life. You're not just risking your liberty. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and child abuse is a very big concern right now because, as I mentioned earlier, we have no mechanism in place if protective services is called into a situation to do any kind of in-person contact between parents and children during the investigation. It's sort of in Monopoly, you'd go straight to jail. In Michigan, your kid's going straight to foster care. So it's and that foster care might be a family placement. I'm not saying it's going to be a stranger foster care placement, but it's something there's certainly a worry about, especially because they're saying that child abuse right now, the numbers will show that it's down because there aren't enough eyes on the kids to report them. But as soon as we come off the pause button and these kids return to school, return to the doctor, return to their normal life, it's expected that there will be child abuse cases and domestic violence cases kind of coming out of the woodwork. So those are some of the updates for today. Let me see if I had any other questions. I know I answered the one earlier about things to do during video or video parenting time. Let me go through and see if any of you sent me any more questions today, or if you want to type them in right now so I can answer them. That would be great. I did post a couple different new resources on the Facebook page for K through 12 school at home. Just some more field trips and some more structured activities. Again, everyone needs to be contacting their IEP teams, their 504 teams, and you must have them amended to include a distance learning plan. And it has to talk about what the parents' responsibilities are and what the kids' responsibilities are and what the educators' responsibilities are. And there are a lot of private individuals out there that can be hired by the district to do additional learning, tutoring virtually with your child. Under the IDEA, the federal law, the purpose of it is to level the playing field. And if gen ed students are getting online instruction for 6 hours a day, special ed students must get it too. It's part of what is guaranteed as a free and appropriate public education, FAPE. And if you need my help in securing those plans and those services, I am here, Carly's here, and we would be happy to help you. We are setting up video conferences through Zoom for everyone and anyone who would like one. We are offering 5 hours of complimentary work to any first responder who is involved or frontline worker. And in addition to that, we will waive our consultation fee, which is usually $175, and do a 30-minute video and try to help you in any way we can. So our website, which has tons and tons of information, is kdlawgroup.com. You can email me, Lisa, at kdlawgroup.com. You can email Carly, Carly, at kdlawgroup.com. And, of course, our Facebook page, message us, chat with us, post, talk, whatever we can do for you. very, very stressful times. Our phone number is 248-792-3060. Gabby will be happy to hook you up with whatever you need. And, last but not least, to everyone, since I'm not seeing any questions today. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not really a fair question, Mr. Samuels, but I will answer it. Yes. Attorney Jim Samuels and I, he is one of the fine, amazing lawyers in Big Rapids that I share an office with. And he is the one who 15 years ago, I think, we founded the A is for Attorney program for the criminal defense attorneys in Michigan. And in March, the criminal defense attorneys in Michigan awarded us the Right to Counsel Award, which is the highest honor you can receive as a criminal defense attorney. So he asked me to mention the award that I won in March, and that's it. And we didn't get to have our ceremony, and we didn't physically get it because of COVID-19. But when we do actually have our big dinner, you'll all be invited. And hopefully that will be sooner than later. We'll be able to be in person. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Okay, the number, it's usually the number 5 reason, but it's always the reason that you never want to harm your loved ones during quarantine, and that is because very, very few people look good in orange horizontal stripes. So with that, I will say goodbye. Tell everyone, stay healthy, and stay home. And message us. We're here if you need us. And have a great day. See you tomorrow.